Byun looks to run away off creep around the corner, tries to get the ultras down, and now he smells blood. Now he kites on top, and Byun knocks them all down. Reynor's in a massive rough spot right now. The bottom right in the blue, he's for the Shopify Rebellion. He's Byun. And of course, Nipper left in the red for Basilisk Gaming. He's Jack Frost. Well, you might know him as Reynor, but I don't know why he has decided to go by Jack Frost. I don't know why he decided to frost the tips, but he has. And it's excellent content. But this is a rematch. This is a rematch of ESL Masters Atlanta, where we saw actually Reynor go and he fell down to Byun. And it's easy to say, hey, Byun was playing really well that day and Reynor was sick. But as I come to find out, actually afterwards, I didn't know about this at the time. I thought he was still sick. But come to find out afterwards, turns out that Reynor was actually feeling pretty good in that series. Reynor was actually sitting there and making a... Again, he felt like he'd gotten some fluids in him. He'd gotten a good sleep. He got some good food. Like he was feeling back, I don't know if 100%, but he was feeling certainly playable enough. And I mean, no one's at 100% at lands. You're sleeping in a new time zone. There's maybe different food from what you're used to. There's a ton of stress. You're playing in front of a crowd. I mean, no one's at 100%. Well, maybe Cyril is because that guy's bomb-proof, but regardless, right? No one is Cyril but Cyril. So we're going to see a 2-Rax opener coming out of Byun, the first game of this series. And I'm curious how many Reapers Byun makes. That's kind of the first thing. Certainly one of the things you can do is you can get 3, and that's pressure on the map. That's, you know, a queen can get sniped if you get really lucky. It can make a third base a little bit harder to take, but as long as the third base goes down in time, you're fine. But you can go to 4, and then you can go to 4 to 5, and then that cancels the third base. It puts the Zerg in a much more awkward situation if they're not ready for it. Is a nice KD8 charge here to start. Looks for the drone and forces the cancels. That's something. But it looks like Byun's going to be on 3, which is, if you get on top of the third base right as it starts, you cancel it. Otherwise, not really. And Byun actually put himself in a bit of a pickle. And in the reason why he found himself in the lower bracket, because that Reaper should not have gone down. That was a mistake. Pure mistake coming out of Byun. But Byun put himself in a pickle in the first round, in round 1 of Masters Coliseum, because I was going to say he dove behind the mineral line too long and Shin killed his Reapers and he died. This is again a different game and he loses Reapers in different ways, but now he's on 2 Reapers. That doesn't do nearly... You can dive a creep tumor. You can take some damage. You might lose a Reaper for it, but you can dive the creep tumor, and that is that. But behind this, Stim is on the way. This is the 2-1-1, and that by 2-1-1 I mean 2 barracks and then 1 command center and then a 2nd command center. So this is still a macro game coming out of Byun. This is still very much him saying, yeah, I want to put some pressure on it. That'd be great. I want to delay the third base until 45 supply, which is fantastic. I want to do things like that. But that also means that, well, because Byun lost the Reaper, he can't delay it even further. He doesn't have a ton of damage. Tries to dive on top of the creep tumor, and I think he gets it. Yeah, it does, and he keeps his Reapers alive as well. Very nice there, Byun. And behind this, Reynor, more roaches on the way, and these are just defensive roaches. I really don't... I don't see... Reynor's not going to run across the map with these. These are to fend off any Cyclone follow-up, which is not too uncommon of a follow-up to Reaper openings like this, especially if you're a player like Clem, a player like Cure, something like that. But of course, as I say that, roaches are on the map a little bit. And again, this is not massively committed pressure coming out of Reynor. It is certainly something. But more importantly, he count the Reapers. That's fantastic. And he just wants to force Byun to bunker up. He wants to force Byun to, well, to do things that he doesn't want to do. Build the bunker in the front. And it is going to be, you know, it's 7 roaches. It's not a ton of things. And Stim is going to be done very, very soon. In fact, it's done right now. So that's about it. Force a bunker out of Byun. That's a little bit of money he didn't want to spend. Maybe you get lucky and Byun played a little bit too greedy, and away you go. Bob's your uncle. You find value, but for now it's not going to be that. Byun, he's got a decent marine count. He's got the starport done, so medevacs are going to be on the way pretty quickly, and the game goes on. This is a game where Reynor is very happy with how he stands. He's got the roaches, so some of the supply is a bit of a lie, but the Reapers got a creep tumor, and they delayed the third base. Delaying the third base is annoying, but this build has been in the meta long enough that at this point, every Zerg player knows how to deal with this. Every Zerg player knows that, well, you go and you delay your third base, but you build roaches behind that, and you build your 15, 20 roaches, maybe even less, and that keeps you safe for a good long time. And then you take a third base, and you take your fourth base on time. Third base a little bit delayed, and because the Terran player went 2 racks before anything else, their economy is delayed a little bit too. So it's not the end of the world that your third base is a little slow. It's totally fine. Certainly Queen's in the front of the line here. Yeah, the creep tumors are going to get shut down a little bit, but Reynor is exactly where he needs to be. And as I talk about every single time we're casting Reynor, the cool thing about this is that we are almost exactly a month from Katowice. And as that is the case, as you know, we're just about 1 month from Katowice, Reynor is entering his training arc. Reynor is entering his his parabolic time chamber, where he's living at his grandmother's house. He's just grinding Starcraft, getting himself into that championship, that tournament winning form that he did when he won Katowice. And that time, of course, it was not in front of a crowd. This time again, we're gonna have that crowd. Got into that form that allowed him to win Gamers 8, although this Snipe of the Queen is pretty nice. And the main base, a Spore will fall as well. And these Ravagers are a little bit exposed, but no concussive shells, so that one Marauder is not gonna really slow our Ravagers down and get on top. And by the way, that medevac, very low. So Byun gets a little bit of something. You know, he gets a little bit of damage. He kills off a Queen. God, almost kills a Spore. I don't think he got it. Gets a couple drones, all that. You know, forces the Zerg back home. And, ooh, this is going to be nice here. Gets a bunch. Honestly, I don't think Byun had to micro that. I think it's better if he doesn't. But he oh, medevac's got to be very careful. But he expected Reynor to do more than just click back home. So he microed it to try to maximize value and minimize surrounds. And instead, Reynor's like, I'm running home. I'm running away. I'm running away. And Byun didn't quite maximize the damage, but that's fine. Anyways, fourth base is about halfway done for Byun at this point. We got a hive. Similar timing-ish for Reynor. He'll be done right around the 9-minute mark. His 1-1, or his 1-1's done, plus 2 armor on the way, plus 2 attacks to get started soon. And looks like Reynor, based on the fact that he's getting melee upgrades, is going to be going for this Lingbane Ultra composition, which is something we've seen a bit more of after the patch, which is, again, somewhat surprising because the only change to Ultras was they were nerfed, or they were buffed by 25 minerals as the Banelings get solid connections there, even after Byun snipes a couple. And 25 minerals is not a lot. 25 minerals is not make or break on these Ultras, but I think it's more that Zerg players have figured out how to get into hive tech extremely quickly. And Ultras have always been good, not when they're not a late game unit. They're just a mid game unit gated behind late game tech. So if you can get there very quickly, if you can get your hive up before 10 minutes, and you can find the value with that, is Byun's drop's going to get found out here, but he gets a couple lings. If you can get yourself up to that point before the Terran players ready, before they've got 2-2, maybe before they've got 3-3, certainly before they've got ghosts or whatever it is, Ultras are incredibly powerful. So there we go. Ultra Caverns on the way, adrenal glands are on the way, but Byun marauding forward here. There's got to be careful with that medevac. I think he's finally going to lose it, but this pressure, yeah, medevac is going to drop off in the main base. This is just a bunch of lings unsupported by anything else. They're all going to get shut down. Byun kites away. Widow mines. Well, they're not going to get the connections that they look for. Not just yet. Byun gets a couple drones, and somehow that drop stays alive. I think he sniped the Queen. I think that's what allowed that to happen, but even still, that's insane. I cannot believe that drop stayed alive, is now Byun through the middle of the map, really starting to put the pressure on. Drops in 2 locations and pressure at the front as he unloads into the natural. Now one of these medevacs is very low. He's gonna get the Viper before it drops parasitic bomb. He's gonna get the second. I think I can't chase it down. So medevacs will follow right there. And Byun on the bottom side seems like he lost most of his army. So the main army is dead. But he gets a Viper for it. He gets heavy damage on the second, drops off in the main base, and somehow that medevac, I mean, finally is going to go down. Now, here's the thing. I think he might get Adrenal. 5 seconds to 1. Barely completes Adrenal. Certainly, Reynor can't build Lings for a little bit, but at the very least, his Lings got that effective +3, that incredibly impactful upgrade. As of course, Chitinous plating is on the way, ultras are being made. There's a Spire, whether it's for a greater. Now finally the drops are dealt with. It's a Spire. I don't know if it's going to be a greater Spire or not, but probably just for corruptors if life gets dicey and a ton of liberators hit the field. Byun's got a pretty powerful army here. He's got 2/2, 3/3s on. Oh no! Nice split there from Byun. I mean, still a lot of Banes. Byun, instead of building +3 armor, is building armor, which is not what you're looking for. Byun always has issues with getting the right upgrades for 3/3 for whatever reason. I truly don't know. But this is a new one for me. He's got building armor just about done. Sure, Byun, fine, okay. And he actually takes a really nice fight on the left side. Ultras go down, tanks get really nice shots as he kites backwards against this parasitic bomb. Well, that gets split away from, so that's fine too. And again, this pressure is really finding tremendous value. In fact, he's going to snipe a base. He's going to get a lot of the drones as they look to run away. The Vipers are out of energy for the time being, and Byun continues his attack forward. Now he doesn't have actual +3 armor. His buildings are a little bit tankier though, but he's got +3 attack on the way soon. No 3/3 on the way for Reynor. His back's against the wall. He's on the ropes here, and it looks like Byun is really starting to shove through. Tanks on the front line, which is not exactly what you want. And first of all, only gets 1 shot off, but now the ultras are starting to get targeted down here, kiting on down. Byun looks to run away, off, creep around the corner, tries to get the ultras down, and now he smells blood. Now he kites on top, and Byun knocks them all down. Reynor's in a massive rough spot right now. Parasitic bombs are not going to do anything whatsoever. Blinding Cloud is so nice, but the ultras don't have the. Oh, the friendly fire though. This entire army, most of it's dead. It's 3 Marauders, that all that remain, and that should be enough for the time being to give Byun an opportunity, or Reynor some more time back into this game. He lost the left side base. His economy, he lost 29 drones, a ton of ultras. And that final friendly fire Widowmine bought just enough time, and now +3 attacks on the way very soon. Adrenal's done. Oh, I thought Adrenal was completed. No, it was canceled at the last second. So now Adrenal's done. These Banelings are, or these Lings are a little bit more powerful as Byun kites away, but he's got +3 attack now. He shreds this Zerg army. Again, Ultras have +4. They don't have +5. They're lacking that 3/3. Lings are very much paper. This is, I'm not going to say the classic, where the Terran puts pressure on for a while, and then that's a cancel on the right side, and then finally cuts through with 3/3. That's been how, that was the entirety of Heart of the Swarm. But instead, because again, with that classic, there are no Vipers and there's no Hive. Even still, though, Byun has this incredibly powerful army. He does have to kite away. Ultras are still nice, certainly, but the upgrades are, they're heavy. They are absolutely heavy, and +3 armor is going to be done soon enough. Files are not even going to get a single Widowmine for now. Shots go down, and there we go. Ultras continue to fall. Well, Byun's not maxed out, but it doesn't really matter. This engagement that he's just building time and time again around the corner is so very nice. And yeah, we did see Reynor. He abducted a couple ghosts. That's fantastic. And actually, he's chasing Byun back from whence he came. Byun does have one problem. It's not going to be a problem right now, but maybe a problem in the future. And that's he's on 92 SCVs. That is a lot of SCVs. That is honestly probably too much in this game, but he's making it work for now as he continues to kite backwards against this army. Lings continue to go down. Snipes on the Ultra from the left side. You need a couple more. Of course, you need 3 snipes to really kill an Ultra, but Even finding that value is tremendously nice. And now EMPs go down. Vipers, they get a blinding cloud. They get a parabomb off, but now snipes go down once again. Ultras around the corner. Byun's doing such a good job here. Somehow that Ultra stays alive. Byun is doing such a good job of fighting around corners, kiting the Zerg player around corners over and over again. So maybe a third of the army is effective. Maybe a third of the army can actually take the fight. And the rest of it is just not able to do much of anything. And now Byun, well, denying that base once again. So this is a 4-base Zerg. Yeah, certainly this base is going to get canceled. Now, the one thing I wish we would see Byun do, as he is, again, it's very much the driver's seat in this game, but I would love to see him go and just get Caduceus Reactor. Byun's medevacs are just so consistently out of energies. That's a massive fungal. That's just gorgeous. But Byun's army is just so consistently out of medevac energy. His army is just so consistently low that having the medevacs just regain their energy that much faster, it would make a big difference. It would, I think it would seriously help Byun in this game. And he's kind of got the money for it. Not really. He's got 92 SCVs, but it's okay. Snipes go down on the Ultra now. Fester. Decent fungal, but you can't fight into that one. More Ultras will fall here. Oh, Byun, that's a beautiful fight. I thought Ultras are going to get connected to the end. This game's going crazy. Fights are just about everywhere, but yeah, now it's going to go down and Fester on the left side. Yeah, okay. This guy doesn't have any energy anyway, so Byun once again maxed out versus about 150 supply. Picks up, yeah, he's going to have to cut away, but he's killing so many of the Ultras on the map. I would love to see, well, we're going to see resources lost at some point, but I would love to see how many Ultras have died as Viper gets sniped as well. That is we've seen a lot of Ultras die in this game. It's going to be a pretty significant number. Is now more Ultras. I mean, nice last second transfuse to at least keep this alive before it dies. But now Reynor around the corner once again. Now Liberators are on the field, so we're going to see just that one extra layer of damage. And Lings are doing a good job forcing things back. Byun is losing a lot of his ghosts in this army, and Reynor continues to maraud forward. He's got to break this position, and he's knocking down a bunch of bio on the backside as well. And this is like the one fight he's got that has looked somewhat good, but Byun finds the corner, snipes everything down, and well, somehow these Ultras aren't dead. This is wild to me, but now they are. Yeah, okay, snipes down, go out, down everything. Reynor's finally dead, but damn if you didn't make Byun work for it. Game one goes the way of Byun. Now in the upper left here in the blue, he took a massive lead from about 10 minutes on, and honestly, it's still hard. It's funny. Byun in the bottom right, well, you know, it's a Reynor. And player intros on the WTL or on the Masters Coliseum are so short. It's like I feel like I have to do them because, well, they actually show it. They have the big zoom in. They show the players, and they're like, oh, hey, it's players. But then they're so fast that it's hard to do any intro. I don't know. I don't know how it works. We have Byun doing something a lot more normal in this game number 2, which is actually pretty awesome because he forced Reynor to go 15-15. Which is, again, that's great for Byun. He's gone to Reaper Expand. That's a lot greedier. Reynor went 15-15. We just consider it a huge success. Not a huge success. As much as we love Portal in this household, it's a minor success. It's nice, absolutely, but it's not the end of the world. It just means Reynor is slightly behind, but this is a Reynor that is slightly behind on a map that's pretty good for Terran. You've got 4 bases that are pretty easy to take. There are some excellent sieged up positions you can find. Just in general, it's very, very solid. It's just really good for the Terran player. Now, that's not to say that Reynor's gonna lose or Byun's gonna win, but good Terran map. Minor economic lead from the start. We take those. And I have no idea why YouTube is if I refresh the YouTube page, it's totally fine. It's just is deciding that it's gonna be dumb. There we go. Yeah, that's the other thing we got to talk about here. Byun was at 100 workers for the good majority of that game. And I don't really know why. Or, I mean, I do know why. He was playing this very aggressive style. He got up to 92, 100 workers, and then just started throwing armies at Reynor. And because Reynor was on the back foot, because his economy was not where it needed to be, his tech was not where it needed to be, well, Reynor was, again, he was on the back foot. He was running backwards over and over again. And Byun, because he had such a powerful economy on 92 SCVs, he was able to trade almost, I'm not gonna say play like a Zerg, but trade a little bit less efficiently than you might otherwise go for. So let's see where we go in this game too. I mean, it's a very standard opener from Byun. It's Hellions on the way. He's got his natural done. We should see this is the less greedy option, which is a bit shame actually. I think I would prefer to see Byun do the greedier one, given the map and given the minor lead he's built for himself, just on the openings more than anything else. But there's a medevac on the way, and he's on 4 Hellions, I think. But he's getting Cloak as well. So Hellions. Well, actually, this might be a fake. As I look at Cloak going down, we might see him drop a Banshee afterwards, which would be kind of cool. But the more I look at this, I think this is a fake. I think he's doing this so the typical 330 scout that you send an Overlord into the main base, if you do, it's a little bit of a deprecated tech. A little bit outdated tech. But okay, no, he's got Banshees on the way behind this, and he sends the medevac out. Gonna pick up a bunch of Hellions, and it's just gonna be a Hellion drop. This would be really cool if he paired it up with Banshees, and he may decide to do that eventually. But Byun's trying to get a lot of damage done in this early game, looking for the Hellion drop. Now he gets scouted out by Reynor, but he drops right before Ling Speed is done. But now, okay, Ling Speed into the corner. A lot of the Lings will fall, but Hellions are going down, well, taking damage pretty quickly. That's a nice spot, actually. That's a beautiful spot. And the Lings are dead. Still 3 Hellions here, which one-shots things, but Queen does a lot of damage to the medevac, and that'll get forced out. So all the Lings have died. That was, I think, 8 Lings or so. Call it 4 drones maybe, but not really. You build them anyways. So it's really not a oh, this medevac getting very low. Queen damage on top. Hellions looking for the shots here. Lining them up. 2 workers go down. It's only 2. It's only 2 despite everything. And Byun, he needed more than that. He was looking for 8. He was looking for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drones, and 2, losing the medevac, losing the Hellions, everything else. It's just not what you're looking for. Although some of these drones are pretty low, which means the Banshee just cleans things up. Oh, that is beautiful if you're a Byun fan. 8 workers go down on top of the Queens. They're just sitting there absolutely useless. There's nothing they can do about it. And now finally the spores are up and the Queens can force this back, but that was a nice little 1-2 punch coming out of Byun. That worked out really nicely for him. Now he's got to find a nice position in the main base. Okay, oh, yeah, he's not going to get the cancel either, so more damage being done. Nice transfuse to keep things alive is always fun. So now Byun, yeah, the first bit of pressure coming out of that didn't get much of anything. It was really not good. It got 2 drones and he lost a Heli and he lost medevacs and everything else. It's just very, very sad. But that Banshee diving in with 8 kills to its name, all of a sudden you're a little bit happier. And Byun's moving out with a little bit more. Stim is done. Combat shield's about halfway done. His upgrades aren't there yet. He's I don't know if we can call this anti-timing, but he's hitting the Stim timing, not the 1-1 timing, as he really tries to keep Reynor on the back foot, keep him back, contained, not all that happy about the game state. And at the very least, this is a lot of creep that's going to get shut down. He just gets on top of the Queens as well. If he snipes some of them, that would be beautiful. But he's not going to. So he knocks some creep down, kills off a couple Lings. That really will be the extent of it. right? Nah, not enough Marines right there. And Ling's on the run by, it's going to get 4 SCVs. It would get more, but there actually just aren't SCVs to get. So, yeah, Reynor puts himself in a really nice position. Forces the third base to lift, denies the economy there. And again, this is one of those situations where Byun is not getting as much damage as he would like, and Reynor absolutely is. So, I'm not going to say that one run by has unlocked the late game, because we're not there yet. But another run by like that, especially if it gets half a mineral line or so, forces Byun back, well, that might actually unlock the late game. So Reynor's got a Hydra Den on the way. Byun's 1-1 is just about done. It's going to time out just about the same as Baneling's speed, so he won't have this 1-1 timing when his opponent doesn't have Baneling's speed. But he does have the upgrade advantage, and he's going to have it for the next 20 seconds or so. And he tries to find his way forward. Widowmine, oh, big Baneling shots! Oh, Byun, I didn't even think about it. I'm so used to him targeting things down, but he just lost 20 supply. 15 supplies, something like that. He just lost so much of his army to those Banelings. And, I mean, the Widowmine friendly fire as well. At least this run by shouldn't get anything done, but Byun moves from a position where he was in a really good spot, like pushing hard with the upgrades. Now he's not. Now he's not at all. And talk about unlocking the late game. It really feels like this one has Widowmines. They're not going to burrow in time. Baneling's looking for the connections, and they're going to get a decent amount. The Hellbat, the single Hellbat's dead. And now Reynor's just shoving Byun onto the other side of the map. This actually might be a bit of a disaster here. Widowmine, or excuse me, Banelings get really solid connections, and all of a sudden, Byun has no army at home. Not really. The run by on the right, or the pressure on the right side is nice, but Queens are defending this as well as they can. In fact, Byun's going to get all the Queens. That's tremendous. That's a fantastic move, but Hydras are going to join the fray as well. They're not really fighting for the moment. Here we go. Byun getting on top of the Hydras once again. The army's dead, but it's a good trade. It's a tremendous trade. And it's going to be an Arax in this second game. Byun leaning into the aggression. That's a lot of Banelings to run into. So Byun kites away around a corner, not really going to get the trades he wants. But now there's the fourth base on the way. So, yeah, I guess we can't really call this an 8 racks. 8 racks is generally 3 bases. Widowmine go off. That's a nice shot around the corner. That's an even better shot around the corner. And Byun should be able to sustain. Well, as I say that, more Banelings are going to get ready. But Byun, corners are a Terran best friend. I know I say this. I said it before. I'll say it again. Byun did such a good job kiting around the corner, setting up his Widowmines appropriately. And that, if Byun doesn't control that perfectly, there's a world where Reynor just steamrolls right on through and Byun's dead. It didn't happen, of course. Byun survived. He withstood the aggression. He lasted a little bit longer, but again, that had to be done perfectly, and Byun did do it just about perfectly. So now the Hive it's about halfway done. There's a Lurker Den on the way. 2-2 just about done for Reynor as well, as he really gets himself into that solid mid game that you like to see. But now Byun, triple drop here, single Widowmine in the army. Single Widowmine, no, excuse me, 2 Widowmines in this army as they try to find their way into the main base. There's a Spore here and a ton of Lings, so that's not going to get much of anything at all. Now Byun at this point, he's in a, I'm not going to say he's in a pickle, but it doesn't feel like he's going to win through the mid game anymore. It doesn't really feel like he's going to be able to go and do what he did last game, which was this heavy aggression running through the middle of the map, all of a sudden triple dropping everywhere, and Reynor takes a ton of damage, and Byun can eventually leverage that to a game victory as he tries to get some of these Banelings, and the Widowmines do an incredible job around the corner. Banelings fall once again, but it's just Marines left over at this point. Oh man, these Widowmines out of Byun, they're actually so good. 12 kills on that Widowmine. I think they were mostly Banelings. That is actually an insane trade. As Byun continues to cut away. This time, it's a bunch of Lings and Hydras and Banes, and I mean, nice target fire again from Byun, exacting as much value as possible. And he might actually, wait a minute, he gets all the Lings and the Widowmine soften things up. He can re-engage when he wants to, but for now, he's in the middle of the map. This is what he's got to focus on. This is what he really has to make sure his splits are good against. as he's just kind of moving on the right side for the time being. Moves forward here. Banelings, are they going to get the shots? Not quite. Byun continues to kite backwards, and this is what happened in the last game. He started to really find pressure, tries to get on top of the lurkers, but they're going to burrow up in time, and Byun loses so much. He's got to kite away. That main army cannot attack through that position anymore. The lurkers were done just in time. And look at how low that army was. Imagine if Byun hung around. That would be very sad. He would have lost all of his bio. Would not have been good. But 3-3 is just about done. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. So, why are we on? We've lost quality all of a sudden. Oh, we're good. Okay, I thought we lost quality. Byun's run by on the right side gets nothing done at all. Left side, doesn't get a lurker, and now he cannot hold around. 3-3 is not even done yet. So this army, he's fighting before 3-3. He's diving on top of lurkers. He loses everything. And now here comes Reynor across the other side of the map. Tons of lings. There's no way, right? Is this actually 1080p? I guess the stream itself actually lost some quality. So Widowmines are going to try to burrow on up here, and the goal here for Reynor is to keep as many lings. Nice shot downtown. Is to keep as many lings on the Widowmines as possible to force the friendly fire while not having too many there. As now lurkers on the backside are going to burrow on up. These Marines cannot fight this. And Byun, he's in a really awkward position at the moment. Yeah, he's dead actually. Reynor, he withstands the timing. Byun falls down, and Reynor ties us up. We're going to game 3. So now, one more game to determine who goes down to 0 and 2. In the bottom left, it's Byun. Looking as nonplussed as ever. Upper right in the red, withstanding the pressure. It's Reynor. And that was well played by both players. Byun, oh man. He was so close to breaking through. The lurkers were done in the nick of time. And that meant that suddenly Byun couldn't fight. He didn't have Ghost Tech on the way. He lost so much. And then he just had no way to dislodge the lurkers. Absolutely zero chance to dislodge the lurkers, and if you can't dislodge the lurkers, they will slowly cut you down, and that's exactly what happened. So Byun not particularly happy about that. And in this game, we're going to see another 2 racks opener, but this time it's with double gas very quickly. And actually, this isn't going to be a 2 racks opener at all. It's going to be a 1 racks opener with 2 gas. This is going to be, well, has Byun proxying this? What's Byun doing with this SCV on the map? He's proxying a factory. He's proxying a factory, proxying a starport, something like that. I am 9. Yeah, there we go. Factory on the way. I thought he'd mine through the minerals and put it really far away, but that tells us this is likely not a drop, like say a Hellion drop, but this is instead going to be like a 1 base all in. Tanks maybe. I'm not really sure. We see this so rarely, and there are so many different ways that it can go. There are so many different ways that this can go. But for now, Reynor, he's going to have to figure something out. He will have an Overlord onto the other side of the map eventually. It's the Cyclone build. Okay, he killed Reynor with this once. This is one of the ways he killed Reynor at Atlanta. Reynor had no idea it was happening. And Reynor's got a 3rd base. This is a standard time 3rd base, by the way. 28 supply is very, very standard timing to get a 3rd base. But this is going to be reactored Cyclones out of 2 factories. 1 proxied, 1 not. Reynor's going to have no idea what's happening. And Marines, so Overlord's going to see that. Okay, so Reynor knows this is a 1 base. It's 245 in. There's no command center on the natural. Now, this still could be a command center in the main, which would be very weird, but it could be a mind game. So that's maybe in the back of Reynor's head, but in general, he knows that there's no base, and he knows, more importantly, that Byun is desperately denying scouting of that, and that's the big deal. That is the really important thing. So he's going to find the factory. He knows what's happening. He sees the factory here, and honestly, this is why I think I prefer if you go for this build, put it on the other side of the rocks, send a 2nd SCV maybe, and then what you do is you mine out your mineral patch. Okay, fine. You proxy the factory very closely. And then you send a second SCV with it, and you mine out the minerals there, and there is very little opportunity for the Zerg to scout whatsoever. It's a little less efficient, so maybe it's not worth it. I don't know. This is theory crafting. Regardless, 4 Cyclones are on the map right now, 4 of them coming out at a time, as Reynor is going to have to try to figure out how to solve this. He scouted it early enough. He's got Lings on the way. He's got Queens in the front lines. And his speed, though, it's ways off. This was a delayed clash. His speed's not going to be done until about 4:15, 4:30 or something. So the Cyclones are going to be hard to deal with for quite a while. So Reynor, he's just got the Lings on the map. There we go. That's a bit of a body block there. This third base is dead. Very least the third base is dead because, again, speed is so heavily delayed. The question now is whether Byun's gonna have enough Cyclones to deal with the Lings when speed's done, which is in 3 seconds. In fact, they're gonna get on top right now, take advantage of the Broodlings as Byun kites away. 1 Cyclone falls, second one goes down. Here comes the surround. Byun trying to kite around, and he will for the time being. Oh, he wastes damage on the rocks. That actually might make the difference. Lings, well, they're all gonna get shut down, but so too most of the Cyclones will fall. Byun, can he get on top of these Queens? I guess not. Queens are back on Crete. And that actually, I thought that was going to be better for Reynor. I thought everything was going to get cleaned up. Instead, he actually survives really nicely, and the Lings are starting to get shredded. And Reynor keeps trying to take this third base. He's not allowed to. It's not happening. The Cyclone count here is just too strong. It's really powerful. I don't know that Byun breaks the natural. That's the problem right now. The spine here is just a significant problem that Byun is going to have to solve. And remember, he's on 1 base. This is all in coming out of Byun. He's a 1 base all in. I mean, if he gets the queen, if he gets the queens down, that is a big deal, because then the spine is just paper. The transfuses aren't there, so the spine is dead. 1 lurker, excuse me, not 1 lurker. 1 Cyclone will hit the deck, and that's not great. And notice what Byun's doing as well. He's not rallying across the once. Lings looking for a big surround. Byun tries to find the corner here, kites away. So many of the Lings are going down, but I think this is the cleanup Reynor's looking for. This is a lot of dead Cyclones. And yeah, Reynor will finally clean this up. Okay. A lot of Lings that he lost, and it's the third base that's dead, and Queens have fallen, but remember, Byun's on 1 base. And at this point, Reynor has the map. I don't know that Byun's going to be able to build enough Lings to I don't know that Byun's going to be able to build enough Cyclones to properly make something happen. Yeah, at this point, this is going to be full surround, even if Byun finds the corner against the wall. And I like the addition of the Reaper. The KDA charge makes it a little bit harder, but yeah, at this point, Byun's going to get spawn camped. The Cyclones are going to get pretty much knocked out as they spawn, because Reynor's finally able to be this active on the map. And yeah, is he only on 28 Lings? Sure, fine. Is he only on 2 bases? Third base only just now getting restarted finally? Yeah, but Byun's dead. Reynor takes the series 2-1. He moves to a 1-1 scoreline, and Byun 0-2.